This episode was previously recorded.
Look, okay, I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got two kids, can you just keep it to two rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me. It don't. And then these people celebrate Christmas. They got big trees, huge trees, all the little trimmings. Everybody got gifts, and then somebody's starving. And they're having a white Christmas. They're having a great Christmas, eggnog and the whole nine. That's not fair to me.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I am Kayla Adams, aka Killer K, aka I am the killer, but don't push me for all my Finsta folks.
Period. And I am Kristen, aka TT Chris, aka Kristen Sweet Johnson. And welcome back to Make It Make Sense, y'all. I know we had to rep Chicago one time in the house.
We back.
Look, we back, y'all. Welcome back to our second episode of Make It Make Sense, a podcast where we come on and we just try and make sense of the crazy things going on in the world. Okay, so holiday time is coming up, and we've been having very interesting conversations about the holidays. So today we are making sense of Christmas time. We just gonna talk a little bit about the history of it, what it used to be and what it is nowadays, because the evolution of Christmas has been a very interesting subject. I feel like it's very different than what it was when we were kids. So yeah, today we making make it today we're making sense of it. Okay. But
Get it.
We just gonna start with a little bit of background. So for everybody that does, I don't know anybody honestly, personally, that doesn't celebrate Christmas. So I know that most people, celebrate Christmas, understand it's the time of year where we all come together, supposedly to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Which according to this lovely little article I found on the History Channel, his birthday wasn't even at Christmas. Did you know that?
That's wild to me. You sent me the article, and I'm just like, wait a minute. When they said, like, why would they be herding sheep in the wintertime? I was like, wow, points are being made.
Y'all making a good point right there, because they honestly don't make sense. They like, truly, why would shepherds be herding sheep and traveling like that in the wintertime? And I'm like, that's facts. That's a very good point.
Thanks.
So they actually estimate that the birth of Jesus was sometime around April, according to History Channel. But capitalism, what's the other word? Not colonizers, but it's another word I'm looking for.
Consumerism.
That too. All of it together.
All of the C's.
All the C's together is basically why it evolved into Christmas. But for the most part, just a little quick background. Basically, around the world, different parts of the world celebrated the end of the year, winter solstice. Because it was a time where all the beer and wine had fermented enough for people to come together, get lit, celebrate together. They wanted to bring in the new year, praising the different gods that they believed in, so that into the new year, they would be blessed with more cattle, more meat, and that kind of thing. So different, areas of the world celebrated the end of the year for different reasons. But eventually it came around to the pagans and the Christianity, and they was like, you know what? The end of the year be lit. Okay. That's where everybody got the time. They got the wine going, they got the people going. So I think who they say it was, maybe like Louis the First was like the first person to be like, you know what? I feel like the end of the year is like a good time to celebrate Christmas. That's literally how it came about. Like one man. Oh, Pope
One
Julius
man.
I. It was one man. Pope Julius I literally chose December 25th. For it to be the day to celebrate Christ, because It's the end of the year, the winter solstice. The wine.
Right. And can I just say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but before you continue, and we learn about this in school, right? But it's just crazy whenever I think about Christianity and how it has so much impact on the world, whether you Christian or not. You know what I'm saying? Christmas is such a big thing now. That who'd you say Pope John? What you say? That was his name, right?
The first.
Right. Pope Julius, one man is the reason that we do all this shit for Christmas. I mean, eventually, like we're gonna talk about this in our conversation, but it snowballed into something else. But essentially, he's the person that started all this shit. He is the reason that we are celebrating the birth of Christ in December.
Yep.
That's wild. Christianity has so much influence on the world, on pop culture, on everything.
Like literally everything. Like once the religion of Christianity was adopted, it just basically flooded like so many parts of the world. And the people that, you know, already held the power at the time just basically capitalized on it. And they understood that that was probably going to be a time where it was going to be embraced by the most people and they would be able to make it like an easily received holiday. So yeah, that was boom, the start of Christmas. Shout out to Pope Julius the First. You know, he was just trying to turn up. But something I also found interesting in that article, that's really what it was. Like
the Pope was here for a good time, not a long time. He's trying to turn up.
He was trying to turn up. And one other thing that I found very interesting from the article was how they were talking about like during the Middle Ages, where like all basically the lower class citizens, the poor people, it was a time for them to like have the freedom to go knock on the upper class people doors and like ask them for their finest wines and their best foods. And basically everybody at that time conformed to this. They like gave them that time to be like, you know what, y'all live as lower class citizens all other times of the year, but right now in this moment, this is y'all time to just like, you know, be happy, be joyous. And if they refuse them, they just, you know, would do little stuff to their house, do little mischievous things. But you know, it was their time to just, as the rich folks, to repay their debt to the lower people of society. So I thought that was very interesting. But this whole conversation came about, you know, because we were having conversations just about Christmas time in general. So Kayla and I are both young, but we're moving into the phase of life where we think about families and how we'll bring up our kids. And a lot of my friends already have kids. So this is conversations that we kind of normally have nowadays, how we feel about certain things, about certain traditions, what we'll hold on to, what we won't. You know, what things were like for us growing up and the things that we want to continue traditionally with our own family. So that's kind of how we started these conversations. And for me personally, I have very mixed feelings about Christmas. I really do.
I think before we get into that, can we just touch on for a little bit like how we were raised celebrating Christmas versus how we celebrate Christmas now, or how people around us celebrate Christmas now?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, for me growing up, Christmas was lit. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like I was in a unfortunate situation to have parents that weren't married. So, you know, Christmas time, we had Christmas at Granny house first. My grandma had the house that everybody came to. So anybody that spent the night before, we'd all get up super early, open our Christmas gifts together, play all, you know, for as long as we could. And then eventually I would have to leave because my dad would come pick us up so that we can go spend some part of Christmas with him and his side of the family. So, you know, I'm getting gifts from my mama's side, my grandma, my aunties, my uncles on that side. And then I get to leave and go get some more gifts. Like,
all right. It was lit.
Like it was pretty much not a time where I didn't get, you know, the things that I wanted for Christmas. But probably the best part was just like the festiveness of it all, the fellowship, the time literally just to spend with family. Everybody's just having such a good time. Everybody was always in a good mood. And even in Chicago, like people are generally in a really good mood around Christmas time. Like
Yes.
Look, the
Which is,
lights.
which is saying a lot because we literally just had polar vortex like a couple of years ago. So that just goes to show you how bad it gets weather wise. But
Yep.
people still be merry and gay.
They be married gay around Christmas time. Like, you might get a couple decent looks from the streets in Chicago, like during Christmas. It just,
Honestly.
it was a really good time. So, um, we did also, we did go to church. With my memory,
Yeah.
it,
I was just gonna touch on that. Yeah.
it,
My memory.
it's tailored a little bit towards the gifts and stuff, but we did. Our parents did make it a point to take us to church.
Mhm.
If we
Christmas concerts.
like, we're definitely still being surrounded by understanding why we celebrate Christmas, the birth of Jesus. Like, our grandparents especially, were definitely in the church. And then my mom for sure was in the church, so she definitely made it a point to always try and keep us on track of why we were celebrating. But we was kids, so
Yeah. Shout out Kendrick Memorial Baptist Church.
Shout out to
And we really weren't I mean, no shade to anybody, any family that does this, because I know a lot of Black families that only go to church on holidays, but we were not those families. Like, we would be in Kendrick, which was the church that basically we kind of grew up in,
Yep.
10 deep, like little ass kids in the front row of Vacation Bible School. And so even before the holidays even came up, we understood why we were celebrating the birth of Christ.
Yep.
And so we went to like Christmas concerts and plays, and we used to commune with our family and talk about the celebration of God and Jesus. But we were also kind of putting in the work throughout the year too to learn about what the reason is for the season that we were in.
Yep, absolutely. And that was something that was important at the time, because I definitely feel like it nourished our beliefs now, especially in the world where there's just so much information and you really don't know all the times what to believe, what not to believe. Just being brought up consistently in that church atmosphere where you kind of just, some days you're not feeling it, but as you get older, you start to understand what the pastor talking about a little bit more. Like, you start to understand the sermons a little bit more, the stories start to hit home a little bit more. It's just when you have that foundation, it's a lot easier to go back to it once you start to get older, and you really could use a lot of those stories and a lot of those lessons.
Yeah. And so obviously we live in a capitalist society, right? So we're talking about Christmas now because it's around Christmas time. But when you think about capitalist holidays, you think about Valentine's Day, you think about Christmas, you think about Halloween, like literally every holiday had sweetest day, like literally every holiday has some sort of candy or decorations or whatever attached to it that you can purchase that'll go back into the economy. So since I think you started explaining a little bit, but Kristen, how would you want to raise your children and have your family celebrate Christmas moving forward?
I kind of started it because, like I said, I do have a little bit mixed feelings about Christmas. I just want my kids to understand that this holiday isn't just about receiving the things that we want. That's literally not where this starts at all. And I think that has kind of been lost in translation along the way. I honestly, if we went and asked a whole bunch of, like, not Gen Z, but probably the generation after Gen Z, like, why we celebrate Christmas, I'm really afraid of the answers that we might get. I just feel like not a lot of them barely, even, understand why we're doing it in the first place. But for me personally and my kids, I don't know. I still go back and forth. It's a conversation that I'll have to have with my partner, and that's something that we'll have to definitely decide together on how we'll move forward. But I'm thinking definitely celebrating Kwanzaa first and foremost, because that is a culture holiday for us. Christmas obviously is a part of my history. It's a part of the Christianity. But honestly, I'm still undecided. I am. I feel like hopefully by the time the Lord blesses us with children, it'll just kind of be a feeling and we'll know for sure how we truly feel about it. But as of right now in this moment, I just don't want my kids to be corrupted by the expectations of them just being able to get what they want to because it's a holiday and it's just
Yep.
for what? For what? Like
Mhm.
why do you feel like you deserve something right now? Because all your friends getting something for Christmas. It's like, why your friends getting stuff for Christmas? Can't nobody tell me. It's like, so why? Is why? I don't know. That's just, I don't know. That's how I'm feeling about it right now. But what you thinking? What you feeling over there?
You know what? I think I just and my mom has always said that I kind of march to the beat of my own drum.
Thanks.
And so when she says that, I just kind of assume that I'm kind of toxic. I'm kind of toxic in the way that like when there is an expectation for me um to do something or to assimilate to some sort of way, I'm automatically either going to do the opposite or just kind of push back against it.
Yeah, same.
And so I think I developed this even more probably in the last few years since I've been an adult. But I feel like I have, in terms of major holidays in America, I've kind of let go of supporting the like consumerism of it all.
Yep.
So like I would obviously love some Valentine's Day flowers, but I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, unless it is something like Kwanzaa where I can intentionally like buy black and put money back into the black community. I just feel like any gift that you could buy throughout the year.
Yep.
Like it doesn't necessarily have to be for one day. You don't have to blow thousands of dollars that you don't even necessarily have like for every family just because this is the holiday of giving. You know what I'm saying? When it's really not. That's not what Christmas is about. To Christians at least. You know what I'm saying? Um so yeah, I think I've kind of pushed back on that. I really don't want to. I would like to celebrate Christmas with my family. But I want it to be more about community and giving.
Yeah.
So I would love to start a tradition of going to give back to the community, going to soup kitchens and stuff like that, um doing secret Santas to place more of an emphasis on giving to others rather than receiving.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I think just bringing back the original meaning of Christmas and what the Bible describes Jesus as
Yeah.
giving, not necessarily as receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to find a way to like put my own personal spin on that with my family. Um, so yeah, I try not to submit to the whole like all the capitalism and shit. I
Yep.
can buy, like I said, I can buy these gifts throughout the year. Why do I have to blow a bag and put myself in potential debt? I mean, God willing, I'm in the financial situation to blow a bag anyway whenever I want and not even have to think twice about it.
Period.
But there are so many people. I heard a quote, and it's probably not an exact quote, and I don't even know who said it, but they said capitalism does not love black people, and that just makes so much sense. I can't necessarily say yes or no, does it target black people intentionally, but the way that the country is set up right now, it doesn't support black people.
Yeah. It doesn't.
And this country is built on capitalistic values.
Yeah. And unfortunately, capitalist values just, it always is going to feed on the lowest class citizen. It's just, that's
Yeah.
why it doesn't love black people, because unfortunately in this country, as we all understand, like black people just happen to be always the ones that's at the bottom of all the poor lists, like the poverty list, the debt list. Is just when it comes to financial situations, we tend to always just, fall at the bottom. And I feel like partially it is because we're not fully intentional with the things that we do with our finances. It's like when you think about it intentionally, I feel like so many families are willing to throw themselves into debt to provide for their kids on Christmas. And it's because they have this mentality of, well, my parents couldn't do it for me when I was growing up. So I want to be able to do that for my kids. But it's just like, but what are you really doing to help your kids? You're giving them
Mm-hmm.
this momentary feeling of like, oh, I have something expensive, this momentary feeling of joy and accomplishment that you're going to be paying off for months and months after, when they're probably going to be playing with that thing for 2 seconds and then be moving on to it the next day. It's just like, what are you actually doing that's feeding their souls, that's actually helping them become better people? Like,
Mm-hmm.
gift giving thing to me is like the number one reason why I have so many conflictions about Christmas, because I don't want my kids to fall into the trap of capitalism. Like, I feel like so many
Exactly.
of us have. Like,
And
and
then in addition to that, I think that, and anybody listening, take this with a grain of salt, because I think that this is just what we have been taught.
yeah,
But it's just like, what are you essentially by giving into like capitalism and buying your children a momentary gift that they're going to be pleased with, literally probably for just a month, because people move on from things so quickly, but
absolutely.
you're teaching them to tie their happiness or their satisfaction to something materialistic.
Mm-hmm. So true. That's so true. And these
And
are,
that's really what keeps the capitalism going for real, because people are always trying to, I'm sure, find that next high, so to speak, like
mm-hmm.
that high that they had on Christmas Day from getting a toy. Next month they gonna want another toy, and so on and so forth, because they just recall that feeling of happiness in that moment, when they really could be searching for happiness in another way that could just be elongated instead of just momentary.
Absolutely. Like, finding happiness in servitude and finding happiness in community. And that's why I feel like I've been doing so much more research on Kwanzaa. Because, that's the principles of it. It's actually based and rooted in trying to be intentional about why we celebrate certain things. So that's why I just, first of all, give a little highlight to Kwanzaa, because the only reason why Kwanzaa is not popping is because it has not become a capitalist holiday yet. Like, literally, the moment people come out with Kwanzaa music and Kwanzaa holiday movies, and people can see on TV that there's some type of material reason to celebrate Kwanzaa. Like, I feel like that holiday could be just as big as what Christmas is, what Valentine's Day is, Sweetest Day, because it's just America is gonna give money, finances, and exposure to anything that's gonna make them money. So the moment they can make money off Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is gonna be a real thing. But regardless,
Yeah, and I'm kind of conflicted about that too. And in the last couple years, I've wanted to celebrate Kwanzaa more. However, I don't know if I want it to become a big holiday. Like, I'm pretty sure that I saw Kwanzaa t-shirts in Target last year.
I'm not surprised.
Like, what do you really think they're giving money back to, like putting money back into the Black community, or they're just making Kwanzaa t-shirts in mass production and advertising it as though like this is a Black holiday, so we just gonna let them think that we maybe putting money back into Black pockets? Like, no.
Trying to get a coin. We're really trying to get a bag though. So anybody that's willing to
Yeah.
come in here and buy these Kwanzaa shirts. But I don't know. It's just so hard to navigate capitalism in general. Like, you have to
Mm-hmm.
be so into, and that's why it's so easy to fall into capitalism, because the way Amazon works, the way Target works, the way Costco works, these big companies that just make everything so easy for us. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
without a second thought, we order something off Amazon that we need because we need it the next day. Like, when you could just drive a couple miles and probably find the same exact thing, at a small business, a local business, and actually give the money so that you're not necessarily giving into that capitalism. But just like, how do you fight something that's so big and makes your life so easy? It's just,
Yeah, that immediate gratification is a motherfucker.
For
Because
real.
there's it's no secret that, well, and I don't think it's a secret that Amazon is basically doing slave work. And Amazon gets millions and millions of orders every day.
That man is a trillionaire.
Yeah, like this motherfucker is about to go to space. Like, why are you going to space? Why do you have that much money?
And it's not even just him at this point. He just sending his friends to space too, because
Exactly. That's the New Hamptons. Space is the New Hamptons.
for real,
I'm disgusted.
like, it really is. And it's just, but it's up to the everyday people to fight against that. And it's just, are people willing to do that? And to me, especially in this country, you will not find a large amount of people that are willing to fight capitalism. It's too easy for them. I think people are so comfortable in their lives that is literally liberation. Like the day capitalism is no longer a thing, like the poorest people of this country have been liberated, and people have been fighting for that for so long that at this point, I think most people are just like, you know what, a life could be worse. Okay, at least I have a roof over my head. I think it's just, people have become a lot more self-focused instead of thinking about the next person or thinking about, the people that don't have roofs over their head or the people that don't have any money at all to celebrate these holidays, anything like that. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that sometimes I'd be thinking, why would white people put themselves in a position not to be winning all the time?
yeah, we
Like
wouldn't.
I was just about to say, I would love to think that if I was white, I would, try to distribute the wealth across under funded communities and stuff like that. But I don't know for sure if I was spoon fed my whole life, if I get everything that I want just because of the color of my skin, especially if I'm a blonde haired, blue eyed, middle aged white man,
Tell you something.
please, why would I contribute to any other communities and raise them to my level? Because that would just mean that my status would quote unquote diminish. That's how they be thinking, I'm sure.
It threatens their comfortability. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It threatens their way of life. And it's just like, who realistically will want to give that up? And I think that's also the reason why Black people tend to be so empathetic towards people, though, because we, for the most part, all understand what struggle really is. Like, at some point of another, we've been through like real struggle in our lives. And that makes us more sensitive to things around us. I think it makes us more empathetic to the people around us, and it instills this fire in us to want to see things be better. I want to do things better. That's why, we the ones always fighting for civil rights and fighting for women's rights and fighting for Native American rights. And I feel
Exactly.
like we always get to, a good point. We get a win, and then everybody's like, yes, a win. And then the momentum dies down. And it's just, there's just truly, 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 when you think about it, so much work to be done. Like,
So much
work to be done. But, there are plenty of people that are still fighting for the right causes. And, shout out to them. Shout out to them. Hopefully one day.
Shout out to them. And speaking of like activism and stuff like that, I was listening to this short like interview from Newsweek, and it was interviewing a Black Lives Matter activist, Melina Abdullah, and her and a couple other activists were just talking about this idea of Black Christmas. So the idea of Black Christmas is basically buying Black from Black Friday through the New Year.
Yes.
And I was just like, that would make, even though it's such a small window of time at the end of November to the end of December, that will make such a difference for the Black community. I don't even know that it would necessarily level the playing field, because for the rest of the year, people are going to be buying Target, Walmart, what's convenient and what's putting money into white pockets, but it would make such a huge difference. And so this quote that I saw really stuck out to me from her. It says, Black Christmas is about shaking off the chains of consumerism and confronting white capitalism, but also building new traditions. And so going back to what we were talking about the traditions that we would want to start with our family, I feel like if it was something like that, like intentionally supporting Black businesses, I wouldn't mind buying gifts. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
but if I'm buying everything from Amazon, Target, Walmart, stuff like that,
It's like, who
what
am
is
I
that?
really
What
helping?
exactly? Who am I really helping? Like, it's giving my children or my family a sense of immediate gratification, which is never good.
Yeah.
It's putting money into billionaire white men's pockets.
Yep.
So what good is that doing? However, if we do submit to the idea of like Black Christmas, it can help not just one Black person, but it could just help to uplift a whole community.
Community. Yep. And I feel like at this point, we're probably like the only group of people that have not figured out how to collectively help each other. Um,
Oh yes.
and I think this is the perfect question that need answer for today because
Bah,
I
bah, bah, bah.
it's just the
Questions that
perfect
need
question
answers.
that need answer. Like, do you feel like Black people are actually capable of committing to something like Black Christmas, committing to something that is so intentional that it's going to take real effort, it's going to take, real commitment to actually see it through, even though it could be so beneficial at the end to Black people? Do you think that our people are capable of something like that?
You know what? The optimist in me is gonna say yes.
Amen. Amen.
And that's the answer that I'm gonna go with. Just because um I've seen what kind of power, and obviously historically Black people have always had so much power. We built this country.
Period.
We carry this country on our backs. Like that's just a fact. But I've in the past few years I've seen how much Black people have come together, and it's debatable like how toxic social media can be, but I also really think that social media is a huge part of the reason that Black people have started to come together collectively.
Yeah.
Like they see so many people, although they see a lot of like tragedy via social media of like Black bodies, but you can also see so many different faces, so many different brown and Black faces that are trying to advocate for their own communities, which makes it more likely for you to do so as well,
Yeah.
for like people to get on the same page. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be something that happens this year, or maybe not even in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe the next 5 years, where we have a substantial amount of Black people, at least enough across the country to be able to make a difference where we can all get on the same page. There's always going to be a few stragglers,
Always.
but I do believe that it's something that could happen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take devil advocate's role on this one. Okay. And
Come on, we always got to have it.
gotta have the devil advocate, gotta put a little realism in there because I do feel like there have been multiple times where, we've tried to come together as a people collectively and we quite don't always be on the same page. Like, I feel like honestly, the George Floyd situation was like the most I've seen Black people all at the same time be like, you know what? That was some fucked up shit. Like, no hesitation. There was not a Black person you could turn to that did not agree that that was messed up. But when it comes to like the way we spend money, when it comes to just like so many other things, I just feel like everybody loves to like have an opinion and everybody loves for whatever reason to like try and prove themselves. To me, it looks like you're trying to prove yourself to white people when you're trying to defend capitalism and talk about why you not gonna spend your money this way and spend your money that way, blah blah blah. But it's just like I don't agree with y'all. Okay, I'm only here to play the role of devil's advocate, but I do feel
Yeah.
like it's just those people that are gonna be like, well, if what if this Black owned company don't have something that I want to give my child? What if my child don't want nothing that they're able to provide for me? Or, um, Black companies don't have good customer service, like they don't have.
Oh, I heard that one all the time, and I have experienced that one as well.
And it's true. It's true. It's like these are all growing pains though that we have to be willing
Hmm.
to go through with our people. Like, and it's gonna get better. Like, and that might not be the one business that you have to support this time. Like maybe you tried that one and it didn't work out. Okay, that don't mean you quit and just stop supporting them altogether. That means you move on to another one. You tell these
Hmm.
people what they did wrong, put them on blast real quick, and hopefully if they serious about their craft and their business, they get themselves together and come correct next time. But it's not something that, you know, we can just give up on them and then, you know, just revert back to what we know because it's easier. It's gonna take time. And like you said, it's probably not gonna be this year, next year, maybe not the year after that. But what it does take is people organizing to bring awareness to the cause, because this is the first time I've ever heard of Black Christmas. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I feel like if there are people that are really behind it, like pushing for it, the optimism in me does feel like it's something that probably could happen as well. But you know, the realist in me definitely give Black people a side eye on that one, just because I love y'all, but y'all be tending to let the culture down sometimes. So anybody that's not trying to let the culture down, check up on this Black Christmas thing. You feel me? Hop on the train.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy you said that too, because I got a link. Okay.
Period.
And also before I tell y'all the link, I in addition to like what I was saying, and then to kind of refute your little devil's advocate, I feel like we saw so much how much Black people rally behind other Black people for Juneteenth this year.
Yes, true. I will agree with that.
And that's kind of similar to what I was saying about Kwanzaa, about how they're trying to commercialize it. So I'm hoping that it doesn't go left in like the next coming years. But people was buying black, and like Black businesses. I don't know the exact percentage, but I think the percentage of Black businesses that like shot up during the pandemic and even a little bit before, like, and through now, is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I just believe that Black people are starting to realize the power that they have, and so that's great. So aside from that though, if you guys are interested in starting the Black Christmas, I mean, I know Christmas is very soon, but if you like me, I haven't started buying any gifts. My gifts for people are still in my thoughts and prayers. They're not under the Christmas tree.
That's period.
And so if you were interested in taking part in the Black Christmas initiative, go to blackxmas.org and you can get more information. And also it holds a directory of Black businesses that you can shop from for Christmas this year. So it's definitely doable. Y'all just need to do it.
Come on. All you got to do is get right there. We providing y'all with the information. Look, we got y'all trying to make this streamline, make it easy for y'all. Just, you know,
yes, ma'am.
Be intentional about what y'all do with y'all money, because I know we all want to see each other win. Like, that is something that I do truly believe. I believe that all Black people want to see other Black people win. Even when you got somebody in your face being rude to you, even when somebody getting on your nerves, even when somebody giving you a side eye, I feel like deep down, we all for sure want the same thing. And we all want to see each other win. And the only way we going to do that is by helping one another. So shout out to everybody at blackexcellence.org. Black Christmas is a wonderful, wonderful idea. Hopefully it go up.
Yes, that's that on that.
And that's that on that, y'all. Okay.
And I think today we made it make sense.
We did. I feel like we definitely made it make sense of Christmas. You know, I really do love the joy that it brings around this time of year. I love Christmas music. I love the lights. I love literally just seeing the world just kind of like light up with this joy. So I truly
the spiked eggnog.
Like, honestly, it truly is a joyous time of the year, and I'll probably celebrate it with my family. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Because I do love it, but it's gonna be with intention, trust me, and it will not just be a day to spoil our kids. And I really hope that that's something that y'all genuinely think about this holiday season. Like, be intentional, look, give back. Jesus is the reason for the season, though, okay? And that's first and foremost. Don't forget it.
Jesus is the reason for the season, yes, he. You remember that song?
Oh, yes, he is, yeah.
Come on, tenors. I'm down, miss some Christmas concerts.
I'm gonna tell y'all, the Christmas concerts used to be popping. Shout out to, was that Kirk Franklin? I'm pretty sure that's a Kirk Franklin jam.
Probably. He make all the hits.
Uncle Kurt, you know, he that hit man. But yes,
Mhm.
y'all, we appreciate y'all for joining us for another episode of Make It Make Sense. You know, like, subscribe. If y'all have some topics that y'all would love to hear us try and make sense of, let us know. We gonna be here
Yeah.
every week trying to
Leave,
make sense of this shit.
leave it in the comments. Leave a review if you got some time. And definitely leave in the comments what you guys are planning to do for Christmas this year. We want to know, we want to hear it, and we will chime in once y'all drop some comments below.
Period. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Until the next time,
Peace.
Marker.